Jake Paul just got attacked by Mike Tyson for canceling their epic bout. Looks like Jake's cry for help has finally been answered, as his upcoming bout with Tyson has once again fallen into jeopardy. But this time, it has awakened the beast, and he's got an explosive response for the YouTuber turned boxer. I'm feeling sorry for Paul, because a blow from the baddest man on the planet alive isn't something you'd want to tick off your bucket list. Without further ado, let's break down everything that led to this bizarre encounter and what exactly went down between these two larger-than-life personalities. Buckle up, because this one is filled with twists, turns, and absolute chaos.
Yeah, the news is true, folks. I, Jake Paul, will be fighting Mike Perry, Tampa, Florida, July 20th. Let's cut to the chase.
No wonder Mike went all ballistic after this, but that's not the end of it. This was just a little fire to get the boxing legend going, but what Paul said next was enough for Tyson to let his hands go, and poor Jake got the worst of it. Get this, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson has been the hot topic of the fight world ever since their fight was announced in March. I don't know about you, but Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson was definitely not on my 2024 bingo card. Now, ever since this fight was announced, Mike and Jake have been on good terms for the most part. Yeah, they've been firing shots at each other, but that's important to build up hype for any fight and pretty common for one involving Paul. Jake loves being in the spotlight, and his all-time favorite tactic is causing a stir with verbal shots at his opponent. Only this time, things went too far as Mike decided to fire back. And this guy, he doesn't just respond with a verbal smackdown. Mike's way of talking is through his brutal punch. Someone asked Jake if he's okay, because I definitely wouldn't be after that. Well, he can't really put the blame on anyone, since it was the YouTuber turned boxer himself who poked the bear. Jake has been after the boxing legend for years now. And while challenging him to a fight in the ring is okay, taking shots at his family really isn't. That's just crossing the line. Paul really should have seen this smack coming. Paul has been making waves in the boxing world ever since his pro boxing debut. Love him or hate him, you can't say that this man doesn't know how to put on a show inside the ring and outside of it. But he still hasn't reached the top level of the sport yet. No matter how many PPVs he sells, being a good boxer is way more than selling a fight. It's about your skill in the ring, and we haven't really seen enough of the former Disney star to know if he's the real deal. So far, he has put up gloves against mostly retired NBA players or MMA stars. The only fair fight he's had has been the one against Tommy Fury, and it gave him the first loss of his career. There's no denying that he has had some hell of a knockouts against Nate Robinson, Ben Askren, and Tyron Woodley, but they were all old and crusty by the time Jake stepped into the ring with them. Paul had been gearing up for the biggest fight of his career against Mike Tyson, and it has been sending shockwaves throughout the entire boxing community since day one. This time, he was up against a seasoned boxer who promised to test his skills in the ring. Boxing pros had been warning Jake about this ever since the bout was announced.
Oh,
He wants to fight Mike, I think.
why?
I don't know.
I don't give a if he's 55. That's still Mike Tyson.
Mike's in good shape, too.
Oh my God.
Mike trains every day.
He trains with Rafael Cordero, who's a legend in MMA. He runs King's.
The problem child stepping up to fight Iron Mike is the recipe for disaster, and Paul doesn't even realize what he has gotten himself into. Good for him, this fight won't be seeing the light of day anytime soon. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson was originally scheduled for July 20th, 2024, but had to be pushed back due to Mike's recent health hiccup. Mike had an ulcer flare-up during his cross-country flight from Miami to Los Angeles. He started getting nauseous and dizzy 30 minutes before landing and requested a doctor on board. Mike said he was doing fine after the incident and that it wasn't going to affect the fight, but boy was he in for a surprise, because it only got worse from here. Just a couple of days later, the boxing legend shared the shocking news on social media. "I want to thank my fans around the world for their support and understanding during this time. Unfortunately, due to my ulcer flare-up, I have been advised by my doctor to lighten my training for a few weeks to rest and recover. My body is in better overall shape than it has been since the 1990s, and I will be back to my full training schedule soon. Jake Paul, this may have bought you some time, but in the end, you will still be knocked out and out of boxing for good. I appreciate everyone's patience and can't wait to deliver an unforgettable performance later this year." This didn't really come as a shock to boxing fans, because when you've got a man pushing 60s as an opponent in a boxing match, this kind of thing is expected. But it's the way Jake treated this news that has everyone talking. Instead of waiting around and figuring out a new date for the postponed fight, Jake wasted no time in replacing Mike for the upcoming July 20th fight night. He took shots at some of his oldest rivals, such as fellow YouTuber KSI, but the Sidemen member had other plans. Plus, he says his fight with Paul will be the fight of his career, so he didn't want to step into the ring with him in a rush. Paul went for Mike Perry instead, and Mike's ready to fight Paul any time of the day. Come on, if you've been keeping up for a long time, Platinum Perry has been begging for a fight with Jake Paul ever since they sparred. He's finally getting the fight of his dreams, so he's going to leave no stone unturned in making sure he steps into the ring more prepared than ever. Now, if you haven't been up to speed, here is all you need to know about Mike Perry ahead of his fight with Paul. Mike's a former UFC star, but he's not like any of the retired UFC stars Jake has fought before. He had a good run in the cage, but just didn't feel like he belonged there, even though he had an impressive record of 14-8-0. So this guy made a switch and decided to test his waters in the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship instead, and boy, was it a good decision. He's the star of the BKFC and the best they have to offer right now. Yeah, not only is he undefeated, but has knocked out half of Famers cold in the ring. As for pro boxing, he's only stepped into the ring once, and that was a brutal loss to Kenneth McNeil. But don't let that loss fool you, because this time he'll be coming in better than ever. Mike Perry has only one purpose, and that is to ruin the biggest fight of Jake's career. He wants to send the problem child crashing onto the canvas so that his fight with Mike Tyson falls through. The athlete said, "Run! I'm trying to ruin that whole thing for him, see if they offer it to me after I knock Jake out and be like, hey, do you want to fight Mike Tyson on Netflix? That's the real win here if I can stop that. But I don't want it to hurt Mike's pockets either." Well, Perry, if you're watching this, I've got some good news for you, man. Looks like you won't have to lift a finger to put this matchup in jeopardy, because it's already falling apart. With Mike's latest blow hitting Jake like a slap on the face, this pair might be going back on the contract soon. Come on, Mike's health is still uncertain, and it will be till fight night. Holding your breath on this one isn't worth it, because the chances of Paul and Tyson in the same ring are slim as hell. Jake Paul thrives on controversy, but I don't think he's going to recover from this one anytime soon. What Mike did was totally unorthodox, but it came from a man who has chewed off an ear in the ring before. Fans are totally backing up the boxing legend because Jake crossed the line when he went after Iron Mike's family. He pretty much gave Tyson the free pass to give him one hell of a beating. This has put Jake in a really bad light. Now, the YouTuber turned boxer can use this as a wake-up call to get his act right. His top priority should be cementing his status as a legitimate boxer in the fight world. Yeah, the fight world still doesn't consider him a real boxer, so Paul has got his work cut out for him. Fighting Mike Tyson isn't going to put him up there with the champions or get him a shot at a world title. Fighting with boxers his age will, but he dodges them like bullets. His upcoming fight with Mike Perry can do him more harm than good. Perry is an athlete in his prime. He's a dangerous man who knows how to hit. How is Paul going to hold up against the baddest man on the planet if he fails to come out on top against a bare-knuckle boxer? Let's not forget that Mike Tyson is one of the best heavyweight boxers of all time. Even at the age of 58, this man can hit, so if this bout somehow ends up seeing the light of the day, Paul will be stepping into the ring for his own funeral. You and I both know how dangerous Iron Mike can be in the ring. We've got his whole career backing him up. I guess we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. Paul just needs to hand Perry a loss in the ring first. So there you go, Fight World. That's all I have for you today. What are your thoughts on Jake Paul getting attacked by Mike Tyson? Fill the comment section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.